Joining me now from Darwin is former Labor Senator and Olympian Nova Peris, one of the people who started the Free the Flag campaign. Nova, thanks for your time. In your mind, explain to our viewers why this step was so important.
Well, I guess 2.5 years ago, when myself and Laura Thompson, who started the campaign of Free the Flag, and Michael Connolly, who is a renowned artist up in Queensland, who had been fighting the battle to actually use the Aboriginal flag as, to identify that his artwork belonged to an Aboriginal person. So all these letters just started to roll out to Aboriginal people and Aboriginal communities with regards to, if you wanted to use the Aboriginal flag, you had to seek permission and or pay from it from an organisation called WAM, which one of the owners of WAM got in trouble from the ACCC for replicating Aboriginal artwork through Birrapi Arts and was fined $2.3 million. So this didn't sit well with Aboriginal people across the country with regards to seeking permission to something that had been iconic, something that represented us, it represented our culture of 50,000 years. And it just didn't sit well with me, all Aboriginal people, with regards to why do we have to seek to ask permission for something that has been part of our history for half a century, but it's symbolic of 50,000 years of history.
What did you make of the way it's been managed by the artists who had the rights and has now freed that for public use?
Well, I congratulate Harold with regards to making this free to all of Australia and to the rest of the world. Our flag now aligns with, it's a registered flag of the world. It's been hard going. A lot of Aboriginal people have been quite disgruntled because Harold signed the world exclusive rights over to WAM, and I imagine WAM have been also paid out of this. We don't know the detail of how money of the 20 million who's been, received what. But at the end of the day, when you look at the fact that the Australian Olympic Committee paid $13 million to the copyright artists of the boxing kangaroo, which is an iconic flag for us sports people. But do you know what? In 1997, Harold went to the courts and he was given ownership and copyright rights through the law, through the system. So he exercised that rights. And at the end of the day, it is free now for all of us to use, and that's got to be a magical day for all Australians. And I'm extremely overwhelmed by it, and it was fantastic that we were able to start this campaign 2.5 years ago and to see this result.
Well, as you say, it is an iconic image and flag for this nation, and as an Olympian yourself, we recall that image of Cathy Freeman in 2000, at that moment, it's sort of one of those symbolic scenes, but this flag was central to that, wasn't it?
Oh, look, absolutely. And, prior to Cathy running with the flag when she won that Olympic gold medal, which, was another unifying moment for all Australians. I also carried it around Uluru when the Olympic flame came to this country. We've seen international sporting greats, Paddy Mills last year and the Boomers, who could never forget that all of the Boomers carried the Aboriginal, the Torres Strait Island, the Australian flag. The Matildas carried it on their first game. So it's not just a flag for us as Aboriginal people. It's a flag that says to the rest of the country, we've got the Australian flag, which represents 200 odd years of history, whereas the Aboriginal flag represents 50,000 years of history. And we have two histories of this continent. And, by bringing the two flags of three flags with the Torres Strait Islander flag, it's a way of unifying, the representatives of this country. And, it's phenomenal, and I congratulate everyone involved. And what they say, all it takes is one or two people to start a momentum moving, and everyone's got to be congratulated on this momentous, moment in our history.
Well, congratulations in the role that you played too, Nova Peris, and thank you for your time this afternoon. Appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.